What happens when I accept an offer? Well, an offer becomes a contract, and it becomes a contract by way of offer and acceptance. When you get the two parts of that together, then it's a linked contract, and the buyer can't go somewhere else and the seller can't go somewhere else. So it becomes a contract. So the buyer traditionally has put a number of conditions upon themselves, and that might be finance, subject to finance, subject to a building report, a finance certificate, and any other condition. And they will put a timeline as to when they believe these conditions to be met. Once the conditions are met, then the offer becomes unconditional and you know you've got yourself a deal. If finance is disallowed or disapproved, then unfortunately the deal is at an end and that buyer gets his deposit back in full and you've got to go back into the marketplace and find another buyer. One of the caveats though is this: the buyer must have made an application to a lender. Sometimes buyers change their mind and they ask a broker to do a disapproval letter. That doesn't wash, that's not acceptable. You must make an application to a lender in order to be shown that you've made your best endeavours to get the finance. So assuming they've done that and the finance has been declined, then unfortunately you're back in the marketplace. You're back taking the under offer sticker off the sign and going back into the market. It's a rare event though, so take some comfort in that. Assuming all the conditions are met, then the settlement agents get stuck into it and do the paperwork transferring the property from your name into the buyer's name. They will do an adjustment of rates and taxes. They will send you the necessary authority forms. One of the things you'll notice though, and just be mindful of it, is whilst your agent was selling the home, there was constant communication. They were organising home opens, they were giving feedback from buyers, etc. But once they get a contract signed, there's not a lot for them to do apart from letting agents go through, inspection companies go through. Their job is relatively quiet until the final inspection. So you won't hear much from the agent because there's not much for them to do. So just be mindful of that. You'll think, gee, the minute they got the contract, they stopped talking to me. It is purely the fact there's not much for them to communicate. So be mindful of that.